Hello everyone, Adrienne here and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a haul over all the blushers and highlighters that I've been picking up over probably I'd say the last 2 months. I've been a little bit delayed with highlighters. Highlighters, I can remember when I first started my YouTube channel, I did not like them at all, and basically the only highlighter that I ever bought back then, ironically, was a Becca Topaz highlighter. That was the only one that sparked any interest in me. The rest of them, I kind of thought on women of color, most of them looked like they sat on top of the skin. It definitely didn't look like a glow from within, and it seemed to emphasize texture. So highlighters just weren't my thing back then, and blushes weren't really something that I was into, and my whole blush taste, the more mature I get, has completely changed. Everything that I wore in the past, I pretty much have absolutely no interest in and am not including it in my collection anymore. If I do have any of those shades left, they end up not getting used at all and probably will end up in a declutter down the road, which is another video that should be coming up sometime this month. But without further ado, I'm going to get into blushes first. I did pick up a Colourpop Super Shock blush. I hadn't had any of their Super Shock blushes before. I had their regular pressed pigment, not pressed pigment, but pressed powder blushes, and really did like those a lot. So I got this one, and it is in the shade Drop of a Hat, and I'm going to go ahead and take this off so that you can see it. I have swatched it. I tried to wear it one time, put a little bit of it on. I'm not sure. I thought I would really like this color from the description because it said that it was supposed to be like a peachy type golden shade. It looks more coppery, like a highlighter for me. It doesn't really show up as a blush, unfortunately. So I don't know. This probably isn't the last of this. It may work nice as some sheer eyeshadow. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that. Maybe I wasn't applying it right because I did try to put it on bare skin. But the next thing that I did pick up blush-wise came from BH Cosmetics. I wanted to try one of these little palettes, and it is their Vanilla Cherry Truffle palette. And this is what the outer packaging looks like. It's just like that little slip cover, and I think these are adorable. I will list how many of these, let me turn it upside down so I'm not blinding you. I'll go ahead and list on the screen how many of these color variations they have, because they have multiple of them, and I can smell this blush from here right now, and it smells so good. So if you're somebody that's sensitive to fragrances, you will want to keep that in mind if you wanted to pick this one up. I like it because it's got this really bright pink pop, which is something that I would have never imagined that I would be wearing bright pops of color like that, or preferring a blush palette that even had them. But if you're not into bright pops, obviously you can see that there's a richer berry tone here, and I'm not sure what these shades are going to play out like. I have a lot of BH cosmetic products that I've picked up lately, so I'm sure in some get ready with me's or first impressions, I'll be using this palette and get to know what the shades are like and come back and do maybe a rankings video of it. The next BH Cosmetics palette that I picked up was this one from the Weekend Vibes, and it is the Bellini Palette. And I think the packaging is just adorable. I'm going to go ahead and slip it out of the sleeve. And it looks a little bit different than that outer sleeve. Really cute packaging. It does have a mirror, so I'm going to hold it upside down. But peach blushes are my absolute favorite. Anything peachy, especially peachy pink, I do love. So this has every shade range of peach, whether you're a really fair person to, I would say, more to a medium deep skin tone. Maybe a deep could get away with this one. I'm not sure, but this was one that I was really excited to have because there's so much variation, and obviously you can mix shades together to get your own custom shade. But I figured my favorite peachy pink blush is one that I used to carry when I owned and ran my skin center, and I have not been able to find one that I like as much since I closed my skin center. So I've been on the hunt for the perfect peach blush, and that's why I picked up this whole basically peach palette, hoping to find something that I'd really like. The next blush palette that I ended up getting, which is really strange that I would buy a blush palette. Having these multiple blush palettes is a very strange thing for me because I typically like to buy singles of everything. I usually don't like it when you have a palette of colors that part of them are going to work for you and part of them are not. It makes me feel like I'm wasting things. But watching the Colorful Camille's channel, which every time I watch her channel, I just start shopping right away. I don't know how I missed out on this Crayon Case blusher palette. She was the first person that I ever saw to have this on her channel, and immediately, as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to get it. And this thing is big and clunky. In case you haven't seen it, this is not a new release from them. It's like an actual book, literally, but the shades that are in here are just gorgeous and bright and popping. Exactly what I wanted. I feel like in every color that's on here is something that I can use. Whether I'd like to use this shade down here as a contouring shade or a bronzer, it would work for me. And I'm going to keep turning the pages. Let me take some of these little shiny page covers off so you're not getting glares. This is the second page of the palette. Some more beautiful colors. Like, I could see mixing a lot of these colors together. I've always been curious as to what these shades look like on someone's skin tone. I guess if you're someone of a fair complexion, really fair, it would show up and probably do some contouring. But this shade down here is one that I can't wait to play with and probably end up mixing it with some other shades to get it more vivid. And the last page of this palette, these are the shades here, and they are gorgeous also and bright for the most part, and can also be used for maybe this one, bronzing and contouring. So this was a total stunner for me that I picked this up. Something this big, like this doesn't even fit in my organization system for blushers, and it definitely is the biggest blusher palette that I have, as it is the size of an eyeshadow palette, and a very thick eyeshadow palette at that. So that was really exciting to get, and I'm going to bounce back to BH Cosmetics. So I did pick up their Glowing in Grease palette, and the reason why I saved this one for last is because this one is a blusher highlight palette, and it's got some peaches and like kind of terracotta shades, not just all peach. This one obviously is very peach. This one's a lighter peachy shade, but this one looks kind of terracotta. But I also really liked the highlighters in this palette, is what drew my attention to it. And I'm not going to swatch the blushes, but I will go ahead and swatch these highlighters on the back of my hand so you can see what they look like on my skin tone. These are the highlighter shades in that palette, and I thought they were really pretty. And BH Cosmetics is really affordable and reasonable, so I went ahead and picked those up from Ulta at the same time that I got that blush palette. The next highlighter I want to talk about is another affordable drugstore highlighter, and by no means is this one new. This is the Wet n Wild Precious Petals palette. I've been looking at this highlighter for years, and because it's so common and wasn't new, I never grabbed it. And finally one day, just on an impulse buy, I decided to grab it. And I can't even remember what store I was in. I might have even been in the grocery store when I picked this up, but I'll go ahead and swatch it. It is a beautiful gold looking shade. Gold, kind of champagne-y, but this is what the color looks like on my complexion. And I'm going to swatch it again and see if I can't deepen it a little bit so it shows up better for you. This may be as intense as I can get it to look on camera. Trying to keep my hands from looking ashy in between these swatches should be pretty interesting, because I bought quite a few different highlighters. I'd always wanted to try Oprah Cosmetics and didn't have any of their highlighters, so I did over the holiday season pick up this Oprah Glow Up palette, and it's got the Rodeo Drive multi shade highlighter here. So that was pretty interesting to me, having all these highlighters mixed in one. And then I'll have to list what the rest of these shades are because I don't have my glasses on, so I won't be able to see. But I was happy to get all of these colors mixed together. So first I'll swatch the individual 3 shades by themselves first before I do all that multicolor. So these are swatches of the individual 3 shades by themselves and what they look like on my complexion. And now I'm going to go ahead and swatch the Rodeo Drive 5 shade highlighter. I need one more finger. I guess I'll have to use my thumb. That's always so awkward to me. So these are what the Rodeo Drive highlighter shades look like. The next highlighter palette I decided to pick up was the Violet Voss Rose Gold palette, and this is the outer unicarton for it. And the palette looks exactly like the unicarton, beautiful rose packaging. And this one is a 6-pan palette. As you can see, I did accidentally gouge it. I used it recording a video for the first time last night and accidentally stuck my brush in it. And this is the shade that I'm wearing right now. This shade here is what I have on my cheeks right now, so you actually get a live swatch of this blush. But I picked this up from a BoxyCharm add-on. I'm not sure how much I paid for it, but I am happy to have it. I know this is not a new palette, and I'm just swatching the first 4 shades here. Go ahead and put them here. I know it's not a new palette. I'm not sure how long it's been out. This is my first Violet Voss product, so I was excited to try it and see what their quality was like. A lot of these to me are swatching like they could almost be eyeshadows. They feel a little bit more like eyeshadows to me, strangely. But this is what the shades look like. Let me try to go back and deepen some of these colors if I can figure out which fingers I use for what. Oh! This first shade here that I swatched is like a duochrome. I wasn't expecting that. It's really pretty. Let me get a little more on my fingertip also so you can see that. Never shows up as well with the fingertip, but these are some pretty interesting shades. And I think they turn out really nice on my complexion because I used a different one last night than the one that I have on now, and I liked both of them. The next highlighter I picked up is the Abh Iced Out Highlighter. This is the outer packaging for it, and this is the actual highlighter. It just looks standard to their other highlighters and their blush trios. I'm going to go ahead and open it so you can see it. I'm sure you guys have already seen this. You get it tilted because it doesn't show its true color and the pattern unless you get the glare off of it. It is beautiful when you look at it, and it does look iced out when you first see it. That's why I didn't think I wanted it, but the more pictures that I saw of it, I saw different gold and green shifts in it. So I decided that this was one, since it's limited edition, that I didn't want to miss out on, and I'm going to go ahead and swatch it here. Not sure what it's going to look like on my complexion. Oh, it does look a little bit silver and gold at the same time. It's like multi-chrome. It depends on how you have it turned. And I can see when I look straight down at it, a little greenish gold shift to it. I'm going to build it up a little bit more because the last part of it is not as vivid as the first part. So I don't think the camera's really going to do this highlighter justice. I think this is going to be one that I can't wait to use in a get ready with me or first impressions so you guys can see exactly what that shade is going to look like on my complexion. But yeah, I have the Iced Out Highlighter. I didn't want to hem-haw around and drag my feet on it. I did end up with the Amrezy highlighter from last year, but I really had to chase that one down and wait for some restocks of it. And I would have picked up 2 of them, but the girl at Ulta told me that, oh, this is one that they're going to be carrying permanently. So I only got 1 of those, which I would have loved to have a backup for. But now that this is out, I don't feel so bad about not getting 2 of those. The next highlighters I picked up came from Kaleidos. I did my first order with Kaleidos. And if you haven't already seen my palette haul for the month of February, you'll want to go ahead and check that out. I will be showing you the palettes that I took in that month, and I did get some Kaleidos palettes. But in addition to that, I got the Ryder highlighter. This is the outer packaging for it. And this, I said number 3 on it, the Ryder number 3. It's out of their Space Age collection, and this is what the outer packaging looks like. Let's see if I can't get that to come into focus better. It is kind of thick and chunky, which is odd. It doesn't have a little mirror in it. It's just got a little design on the top of the container that it's in, packaging I should say. But this is what the actual highlighter looks like in the packaging. Go ahead and swatch that and show you what it looks like. So Ryder kind of looks like a golden shade. The description is like a golden peachy shade. It's supposed to be kind of peachy, but I don't really see much of the peach. Oh, I take that back. On camera, for some reason, on this swatch on my hand, I don't see it on my fingertip, but on the swatch on my hand, I can see slightly the peach. I did wear this in a video I recorded last night, and I thought it looked golden. I didn't see any of these peach undertones, and it's really just depends on how I turn my hand, the shift of it. So it's one of my first Kaleidos highlighters. I did pick up a second highlighter, and looking at the table, I think this is the final highlighter that I got. This one is the Space Age Prophecy, and this one is a multi-chrome highlighter. It comes in a package that looks like this. So reflective. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you the packaging accurately, what angle to hold it at. You can just see the engraving of the outer packaging on the inside. There's no color to it, but this is what the actual shade looks like. And I can't wait to do the swatch of it because it doesn't look nearly as pretty when I show it to you on the screen as what it does in person. Maybe if you see this on my finger first before I swatch my hand, you can pick up all the multi-chrome in it. But here is the swatch of it. Oh, that feels so smooth and buttery. Wow. It is a true multi-chrome. I can see peach shifts. Look at that at the bottom of that swatch compared to the top. I can see a little bit of lavender at different points. A little bit of green. And my finger even looks different than the hand swatch. Let's turn it this way and see if it can focus a little bit better. I'm really excited to have this and cannot wait to try it out. This I might even use as an eyeshadow. It's not like I have to just keep it to a highlighter. It might be a little much for a highlighter and I might prefer it as a shadow, but I'm certainly going to see what I want to do with it. Oh, and I can see a lot of the green after I just wipe that off. Do you see where it's still like right in here on my veins, like where it's that peachy orange color, but then it's kind of turning green, shifting a little green. This is really pretty. There was also another Kaleidos highlighter that I wish I would have picked up that I didn't get, but not too bad for my first round with them. Oh, and I do see that I have left out some products, and this I'm going to classify as a highlighter. It's my first Nabla product. It's actually their skin glazing. And I don't know, this one is in the shade Truth. I don't know if these are considered a blush or a highlighter or what they are. This is the one that's more of a peachy tone, obviously. It is so gorgeous to me. Let me see if I can't come closer and get this to focus better. If you haven't seen this already, it's definitely not a new product, but I am going to swatch this because I've never swatched it before, and we'll put it on the other hand since I have so many shades mixed into that other hand already, and this is really pretty. This is going to be a great blush topper for me. I might even be able to pull this off as a blush. So this Truth shade is beautiful. I did pick up another Nabla shade, and it's the Adults Only. And this is what the shade looks like. This definitely looks like it's going to be a blush or a blush topper. I don't think I would wear this as just a highlighter by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch that and put it next to the Truth. Oh yeah, that's a blush. Wow. first Nabla products here, so I'm really impressed with that, and I liked how that felt when I was swatching it. The pigmentation is beautiful on these. I really did expect them to be highlighters, but I think I got some beautiful finished blushes here. But this is it. This really is, let me look. This really is it for all the things that I took in blush and highlighter wise over the last couple of months. So I cannot wait to get to using these, and maybe some of them will make it in my favorites. It's not like I'll be doing a video about highlighters by themselves. So hopefully in some of my favorites and best and worst and things like that, these highlighters, I'll be able to come back and tell you what I thought of some of them. And you can always look in my future videos down in the description box for the products that I'm wearing. And I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of these throughout my videos coming up over this next year, because I don't know. I'm not going to say that I'm done. If someone comes out with something unique, I'm definitely going to want to get my hands on it. And like I already told you, there's one from Kaleidos that I wish I would have picked up with my last order. So I know eventually I will be trying to get my hands on that if at all possible. That's it for this video, and I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. You'll also want to hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button so YouTube notifies you every time I upload a new video. I'll see you guys soon.